few months ago, Dove Beauty decided to release a real virtual beauty ad campaign that called on gamers to challenge the definitions of beauty in the virtual world, and they got obliterated over it. But it seems that they have now doubled down on this campaign, offering tickets to GDC if you're someone who is comfortable with challenging beauty ideals in the space. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media so you can see when my content is posted, and of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and live streams I create, consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. Now, I'm sure a lot of you remember this situation from a few months ago, but Dove had posted this very short video clip on social media, and it says, "At Dove takes a stand against overly sexualized women in video games, with at Epic Games, Unreal Engine, Education Team, and at Women in Games eliminating stereotypes and to build young players' self-esteem and body confidence." Bounding into Comics had actually done an article on it as well, saying Dove's new virtual beauty ad campaign calls on gamers to challenge the narrow definitions of beauty still visible in the virtual world. It says that the Unilever-owned line of hygiene products first took a stand against overly sexualized women in video games on May 11th with the unveiling of a new commercial in which they called on players to eliminate stereotypes and build young players' self-esteem and body confidence. Now, of course, I absolutely destroyed this because we are talking about fictional characters in a fictional world throughout just video games in general, because they didn't bring up like one or two specific franchises, but I think it is perfectly fine to have characters that do not look realistic, that do not fit into norms. I think it's perfectly fine to have your female characters be sexualized or be very beautiful. I don't think that that's a problem, just like I don't think that it's a problem if we go around in video games and have men being shirtless or constantly having muscles and abs. Like, that's not an issue to me, and it shouldn't be an issue to you. If you are a game developer and you want to make these butt ugly characters, okay, that's fine. You go ahead and you go for it, but just know you're going to lose a lot of sales. But they were very adamant on standing against, stereotypes and sexualization in the video game industry, and they got absolutely roasted for this. I know I had put up a few tweets on it, and this one was the most important to me. I said, what was the point to collect this new research if they were going to lie in the ad anyway? And that's what they did at the very end of the ad. They said 74% of girls feel underrepresented in video games, but then if you dug and you actually found this study they did, it says new research from Dove endorsed by Women in Games shows 60% of girls and 62% of women feel misrepresented in video games. Over 1/3 of young girls' self-esteem is negatively impacted by the current lack of diversity across avatar characters. Now, obviously, in the past few years, we have seen a lot of diversity in the video game industry. There are characters in video games that represent every type of person at this point, but they got absolutely roasted for this take and for this advertisement, and rightfully so. People are saying things like, I'm a woman in my 40s, I like gaming as hot, young female characters, and that shouldn't be an issue. Does anyone find it funny how these companies will always be like, we're done sexualizing women, no more hotties, and bring out a chubby woman? Like, what are you trying to say here exactly? Sorry, Dove, she's still hot, I'm gonna sexualize her, you can't stop me, sorry. I'm a female gamer, and I'm not overweight or obese. Also, many games now have body scale sizes advertising, so you can design your character to look however you like. Lastly, you're a soap company, stick to that, which I completely agree with. But now they have actually posted this on thegamedeveloper.com, and it says, calling all game developers, create the new heroes we need to see today. I'm sorry, I don't need to see fat, ugly characters in my video games. Again, if you want to give players options and you want to give us ways to play as whatever type of character we want to play as, that's fine with me. But I'm not sitting here looking to play as the Fable protagonist, you know, the new female Fable heroine that looks like she got slapped by the ugly stick. That's just not the type of game I want to play. They said, as part of Dove's ongoing commitment to support gamers' challenge beauty ideals in this space, we're giving 5 of you the chance to win an all-access pass to industry-leading conference GDC 2024. Now, if you don't know what GDC is, it is the Game Developers Conference, and funny enough, almost every single year, you know who they put on a stage and they give a lot of time to and they give a big panel to? Anita Sarkeesian. So if you didn't know what Game Developers Conference was and you didn't really know, oh, how do they fit into this? They're a soap company. This is how. GDC is all about, you know, allowing people the space to talk about how they think the video game industry could change and could progress the way that they think it needs to progress and needs to make change. And Anita Sarkeesian is someone who almost every single year gets a lot of time, and she gets a lot of attention at GDC, so red flags all around. It says, this is a sponsored article by Dove. We know what you're thinking, the brand known for its iconic beauty bar. What do they know about video games? Please allow us a moment to explain. We've teamed up with friends in the games industry to help with the incredibly important mission. I'm sorry, but diversity in video games is not an incredibly important mission anymore. We're not talking about video games 20 years ago. We're talking about video games today. Over the past 5 years alone, we have seen an insane push for diversity in video games, and I think it's fine to have diversity and inclusivity, but the issue is that diversity to them means making, you know, female characters specifically but freaking ugly, because game developers and writers and these creatives have this like twisted mental idea that, oh, you can't be beautiful and strong at the same time. So if you have a strong female character, she's gonna be butt ugly. And that makes me so sad because, again, I'm a female and I want to play video games as pretty females. That shouldn't be an issue. It says, as part of Dove's ongoing commitment to supporting gamers' challenge beauty ideals in the space, we're giving 5 of you the chance to win an all-access pass to the industry-leading conference GDC 2024. Simply complete the course and put your newfound knowledge into action to build on the creation of inclusive video game avatars. Representation matters. It's more important than ever that we see people or characters who look like us in the films we watch, on social media feeds we scroll, and in the games we play. They push this number again, saying we need a change for the 1.3 billion women and young girls who make up the world's gaming community. Again, they do not actually link to where that number's coming from. I mean, there are a lot of women out there who play video games. I'd like a little bit of you know, research being done. I'd like some kind of solid statistics to look at, but it says who make up the world's gaming community. There is little in the way of realistic representation of and for them in the virtual world. I am a woman who has played video games my entire life. I played video games when I was young. I've played video games now. I will be playing video games for the rest of my life, and I have never, not once gone, I feel underrepresented. There are not enough women in video games. There's not enough women who look like me in video games. I have never said anything like that because to me, I'm, you know, a pretty normal person, I'd like to think, and I don't look at just the way a character looks and go, wow, they represent me. It's not always just about the way a character is designed. It's about the way that they act, their personality. It's about the lessons you learn while you play as the character. That should be what's important. But no, it's just, you know, surface level to these people. It says that in partnership with Women in Games and the Center for Appearance Research found 60% of girls feel misrepresented by video games. Even more concerning, over a third of young girls feel their self-esteem has been negatively impacted by the lack of diversity in avatars. Again, I personally think that this is just an absolutely absurd ad campaign that they're going on, but it does seem like Dove has now doubled and tripled down on this. They're calling all game developers to continue to create the new heroes we need to see today. And I haven't actually seen any social media posts on this new article that's gone up from gamedeveloper.com. If there is one that goes up, I'm sure it's going to get absolutely destroyed. But I felt it was important to follow up on this and say that yes, Dove has double and tripled down on this giant campaign about diversity and representation in video games. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.